Morning, everybody. I have something I wanted to share with you today, and it's something that's very special to me and is actually one of my greatest treasures, and it was given to me by my grandmother. But before I show you, let me tell you a little bit about my grandma. When I was born, my grandma was already pretty old, so I didn't get to see her do a lot of the things that I heard that she had done when she was younger. But one of the things she was very well known for was sewing, and she would make clothes for her family. And even though she didn't do that by the time I showed up, she would still take whatever random pieces of fabric she had lying around when I would go to visit her, and she would sit at her sewing machine and she would create these amazing doll clothes and things for me. So I got to see a little bit of it. So she put her heart and her soul into those kinds of things that she did for other people. Well, one day when I showed up to visit her, she had an extra special gift for me, and it was this. You guys might have something like this in your house. It's a quilt, and it's made of all these different fabrics that she put together, just random bits of fabric from projects that she had left over that were sitting around her house. She took them and she created this wonderful quilt with them. And what's even more special about this quilt, she didn't sit down at her sewing machine to do it. She sat down and did this by hand. When you look at the stitches in it, some are long and some are short, and you can tell some of them aren't straight because her eyesight just wasn't as good and she couldn't make it perfect. But she sat down and she sewed every stitch of this amazing quilt with love. And anytime I sat down with it, I just felt like I was surrounded by my grandma's arms in a big hug, and I just could feel the love in this. Well, you know, I started thinking about this quilt again the other day, and it made me think a lot about life. You know, God has kind of woven and created our lives. And, you know, if we think about our lives, there are things that are just a little bit random, things that don't make sense. Just like I look at this sometimes, and especially when I was younger, I would look at some of the fabrics and go, oh, Grandma, why did you choose that fabric? Why did you put that in it? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem to fit with everything else. And sometimes in our life, there are times when that happens too. Things just don't seem to fit or don't seem to make sense. But just like my grandma took all those random things, the beautiful things that you just love and are excited about and proud of, and even the random things that you're thinking, well, okay, I guess that can be there. God takes all those pieces of our life, the good and the bad, and he has a plan for it all. He is able to weave it together and create just a beautiful lives for us. You know, the Bible tells us that we are God's workmanship. Just like this quilt is my grandma's workmanship, it's something that she made and she put her love into. We are God's workmanship. He made us, he created us, and the Bible tells us he created us to do things. The Bible also tells us that he has a plan for us and a purpose for us. Just like all these different little fabrics were just random bits of leftover stuff, they were put together in a beautiful way to make a beautiful quilt that shows my love. It has a great purpose. It keeps me warm, helps me know I'm loved. God does that with our lives too. He weaves all of the things together in a wonderful plan. He gives us a beautiful purpose. So today, as you remember and as you think about your life and think about all the different parts of it, you know, the things that make sense and that are beautiful and that you're proud of, and the things that you scratch your head a little bit, just remember that just like there are stitches all through this quilt where my grandma sewed and stitched it by hand and took her time and care, God has done the same things in our lives. He's woven all the different parts of our lives and our stories together into something beautiful, and that's you. He's created us with a plan and with a purpose and wants good things for us too. So as you go into this week, I just want you to remember that God is woven throughout your life and through all the different stories of your life, and he will be faithful and will be there with you no matter what. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Make sure you tell your moms Happy Mother's Day and give them a big hug and thank them for loving you so well. And we will see you guys soon. Bye.